It's non-NBA Cup action, and everyone in the league decided they were going to shoot 90% from the field, I guess. Random big nights from some of our favourites. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and if you want to hit me up in the comments below, I've got to connect in order to be able to access social media sites for under 16s. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We're free, we're available on all platforms, and we are part of the number one sports podcast network, the Locked On Podcast Network. So thank you for pushing us, me, the whole network up to number one in the sports podcast networking realms of lists of whatevers. Cool. Let's talk about games on Thursday, but we do have some newsy sort of stuff to get to, so let's talk about that first, because this stuff is going to be important, especially heading into Friday when we've got 7 games on. In Washington, Alex Sarr and Chris Middleton remain out. That's interesting. Last game, Tristan Vukcevic played more than Marvin Bagley. Not sure that'll be the case. I'd probably still stream Bagley over Vukcevic as much as I'd want Vukcevic. Middleton out means that Justin Champagne is going to have a big go at things, but very early to me, Trey Johnson's back. So it does cut a little bit of that down. Middleton out helps. Johnson back hurts. Champagne still is someone to roll with short term. And we see how those minutes get distributed. And what sort of role they attribute to guys like Bub and Trey and Champagne now as well. Because remember last game also, Champagne played 32 minutes, but Cam Whitmore was a DNP in that game. Dan Gafford, after like a whole week off for injury management, is doubtful again. Is his ankle rooted? Like, what's going on? I don't really understand what the story is here with this. It's just a perpetual ongoing injury thing. This is part of why I prefer Najee Marshall as an ad with Dereck Lively out, but also an understanding that we know what the team is. We have seen Lively out for weeks, and Gafford hasn't been it at all. Jarrett Allen remains out in Cleveland. I thought he might return, meaning that Jalen Tyson's value still stays really high. And then we got a bit of a surprise one, I guess, with Goose Anthony Edwards popping up on the injury report with questionable tag and Mike Conley being out. So if you're in a deep league, the big stiffy, the 5-minute man, Bones Highland, took over from Rob Dillingham last game to be the backup-ish point guard, third-string guy. It should help keep DiVincenzo's minutes a little bit higher as well. And if Ant is out, well, it's going to mean more for Jaden McDaniels, more for Naz Reid. I don't think I'd be all that interested in looking at Terrence Shannon. We've played this game already before this season, and I didn't really do anything. It just helped DiVincenzo and Randall a ton in that particular situation. Let's take a look at who's been added and who's been dropped. It's been about 30 hours since I last looked at this list, which was on the waiver wire show, so the most added player over those last 30 hours is Daniel Gafford. So people really did overreact to the Dereck Lively scenario. Because again, I don't, this is just such a common phenomenon. Sounds like I'm like spitting bars here. Much like the ZocDoc ad. That you've seen someone be out for weeks, and then you hear, no, they're actually done for the year. So you go and grab the guy who you wouldn't have grabbed anyway? I don't get it. Anyway, that's fine. Kyle Kuzma was second most added player. I know that it was a stream for Thursday's game, but bloody hell, he was great. Chris Dunn, more of a stream for today, same with Steve Adams. And then Rob Williams. It made sense. Didn't think that he'd still be ill in a game where Don Klingon was out, but of course, the big fella just cannot, anytime he's presented with an opportunity to be a starter, something seems to go wrong. And it's frustrating, and I don't know why it is, and he did not start today's game. They went small. He was out. That's why he didn't start. The most dropped player, Jordan Goodwin. Yes. Dereck Lively, easy. Ryan Dunn, no problem. Luke Cornett, absolutely. And the horse, Keldon Johnson. They were good streams in for Wednesday's game. Some of these guys don't play until Sunday. That's the Suns and the Lakers in that game. And then the Spurs and the Thunder are playing on Saturday, so you don't need to worry too much about those guys. Easy drops. No real discussion, no real decision needed there. Now we can go to the first game of the day, the Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks win it pretty easily in the end, 116-101. The Celtics rolled out the same starting lineup that they have been rolling out. And there were 3 players in this game who shot over 75% from the field on sizable volume. Just like ridiculous shooting numbers that's going to make their games look incredible. And we'll start in Boston. We'll start with Jordan Walsh, who's on an unbelievable run. Like, this guy's putting up top 50 numbers over the last 2 weeks. There's a lot about this that I look at it and go, yeah, I'm not sure about that though. And here's why. Right, he shot 80% from the field. 8 of 10. He ended up with 20 points, 8 rebounds, 3 threes, and 3 steals. He got 2 of those steals in about the first 2 minutes of the game. I don't think he took a single shot in the fourth quarter and was at 80%, including 75% from 3. And I know that he has been doing this. He's been shooting at ridiculously elevated levels. But what is currently happening with Jordan Walsh has no basis in any ongoing reality. Holding him is totally reasonable, but as we discussed, if you didn't watch it, the preview show, the one's got Zach Edey on the thumbnail, the Celtics now have 1 game in the next 7 nights. 1 game in the next 7 nights. Is Jordan Walsh a guy who's performing at this top 50-ish level? Let me double check this. So over the last 2 weeks, here, 55th over the last 2 weeks. Is he worth holding? And how has he gotten to that spot? How is he that good? Well, 1.9 steals will get you there, but he's shooting 74% from the field. 74. And it's not that, well, he's just doing dunks, because he's not. He's hitting 59% from 3. 59. It's just, he's finishing at the rim at 70% or whatever it is. Good, fine, right, that's okay. But that shooting from 3 is just not a real thing. He's so low usage as well that, I don't know. I know he looks great, right? I know he looks like he's putting up fantastic numbers because he is. There's no debating that. And he's playing really well. He didn't get into foul trouble tonight, so he stayed in. But he's such a low volume guy. And the value comes on low volume stats that there's going to be periods of incredible hotness like this. And there's going to be games where you go, what are you doing? You've got 6 points on 4 shots. So that is a tough call to say, I'm going to drop Jordan Walsh after he has 20 and 8 with 3 threes and 3 steals. It would seem insane to do that. I'm just saying, don't rule it out when you factor in all these things. It is distinctly possible he has a 25 percentage point drop in field goal percentage, a 15 percentage point drop in his 3-point percentage, and he plays 1 game in the next 7 nights. Push comes to shove, I don't think I've got Jordan Walsh on any teams. I mean, look, I don't. Push comes to shove, I probably wouldn't. Just because, again, it is a hard mental thing to get past. But they play on Monday, right? And their next game is the 19th. And we are the 12th today. It's a long way away, man. And yeah, he's running on 13 usage. I fail to see it. Jaylen Brown, usage down a little bit in this one, but 30 and 3 with 2 threes and 3 assists is great. While Peyton Pritchard had 11, 5, and 7, but he didn't shoot very well. I'll just keep doing this because this man continues to be like insanely over-rostered. What are you doing with Anthony Simons on your team?
Get that garbage out of here.
7 points, 0 rebounds, 22% shooting. What are you doing? Like, just drop him. What on earth is going on? Joshie Minott had 7. He had 2 steals. Derek White didn't have a good game, 11 points on 25%, but he'd been playing so well before that. And then Neemias Queta came out pretty early in this one. Only played 25 minutes, but that's okay. 9 and 10 still remains a category must roster. Points, debatable. It was one of the worst games you'll see from Sam Hauser. You see Jordan Walsh not miss any shots, and Hauser goes, all right, 0 of 10 for me, including 0 of 9 from 3. The 6 rebounds helps, but you were streaming him in to hit 3s, and he didn't even hit a single shot. Which, of course, is annoying. And it just sometimes happens, doesn't it? Which we don't like. We don't like things like that just happening to us, but it does. On the Bucks side, they saw Jordan Walsh, and they said, right, how about 2 of the most infuriating players in the NBA decide they're never going to miss a shot in Bobby Portis and Kyle Kuzma. Portis went 85 from the field. He had 27 and 10. And it's going to obscure the fact that overall it's not that good of a game. And hear me out again. No assists, 1 steal, 0 blocks, 0 free throws. He just hit every single jumper, including going 5 of 6 from 3. These are not numbers to rely on. And even then, he didn't start, and he still only played 26 minutes. So, again, if you had him on your team and you streamed him today, lovely. You'd love that value. Fantastic game. But overall, I do not believe that he is an absolute must-roster guy because that shooting is just a fake thing. Same as it is for Kyle Kuzma, who had 31 and 6 on 77% shooting. Now, at least Kuzma did start, played 31 minutes. But he had no assists, he had no steals, he hit 1 3. They're stream level guys, and I do prefer Kuzma over Portis. They both just went crazy here. They moved Jericho Sims to the bench. He went from playing 30 minutes to 7. No, not 7, 10. Shout out Glenn Rivers, 2 points for him, so that was a terrible stream. While Myles Turner, speaking of terrible, encouragingly, he played 28 minutes. Encouragingly, he had 2 blocks. The rest, bro, I know that there are going to be many people out here who want to drop him. I understand that. I would not recommend that. If I was in a league that was 100 players deep, and it's a points league, fine. If I'm in a league that's 130 players deep and it's a points league, I get it. I think you'd be okay there. If it's 150 deep, if it's 175 deep, I'm not doing it. This is an incredibly terrible run of shooting from Turner. The minutes were back up here. The usage is down. The confidence is gone. Glenn Rivers' system is clearly not ideal for him. But I feel good about saying that he's better than this. He's not going to live up to my preseason expectations, which I don't think was super high. But he's not this bad. I am not giving up on Myles Turner. Kevin Porter Jr., wow. 18, 10, and 13 with a steal on 60% shooting. The shooting is going to come down, but not at the moment. He was the guy, and I've said this many times, that the number one player that I had on all of my teams. Out of my 9 rosters, I think I had him on 5 or 6. And I went hyper-aggressive, drafting him in round 7 of many drafts. And it looked terrible. I didn't like it when I did it, and then he got injured. And now we're talking about a top 10 player. He's not going to stay as top 10, but I feel like I grabbed him in the 80s of drafts. He's a top 50 guy from here on out. Both he and Ryan Rollins had foul trouble in this game. So Rollins only got 26 minutes, 10, 2, and 7 with 2 steals. And Gaz Trent had 3 threes, 13 points in his 28 minutes in a spot start. I don't think we need to worry too much about Gaz. Neither the other Gaz, Harris, who played 33 minutes. I'm not really sure why he played 33 minutes. He didn't score a single point and missed all 3 of his shots. Solid game from Cole Anthony, 9, 3, and 5, but that's just deep league stuff. Still waiting on AJ Green to return for this team as well. We'll come back and we'll recap the other 3 games from Thursday. Today's episode, though, is brought to you by ZocDoc. It is 2025. It's almost 2026, and the days that you wait for a full-blown emergency before seeking help, well, you can't do that anymore. Well, you shouldn't have ever done it, but just now you can't do it. You can't walk it off. You can't just blame it to the weather or something. You've got to get that stuff checked out. Take your health seriously, and with ZocDoc, it is easier than ever. Staying healthy is not just getting a gym membership. It's going to the gym, but it's eating healthy, but it's also taking care of things and getting them checked out when something feels off. You can compare providers using real patient reviews, not ads, on ZocDoc. No more back and forth phone calls or waiting weeks to be seen as well. The real appointment times are listed, including same-day visits. So stop putting off your doctor's appointments and get the care that you need. Go to ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNBA to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That is ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNBA, ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNBA. Don't forget, we have started the Everydayer Club. It's a club where you get ad-free podcasts of all of my show, ad-free, at LockedOnPodcast.com/Everydayer. Access to Locked On merch. It's $5 a month. There's an exclusive Discord and exclusive national episodes get released as well into your feed. Plus this show, ad-free as well. So check it out. The Everydayer Club link is down in the bio. All right, we're recapping the action from Thursday first game. There was just a lot of weird stuff in that game with Jordan Walsh, probably the big story there. And then the big games from Portis and the big games from Kuzma and the terrible game from Myles Turner. Now we go to the Clippers and the Houston Rockets. Close one, this one. The Rockets get the win 115-113. Your final score, as you know, we love to see a game like this where there are just tons of timeouts, fouls, all that stuff. Reviews, just the best things about basketball really taking over the game. I love that stuff. Kawhi Leonard, 41 minutes. Yeah, they need victories. They didn't get it, but they need them. 24, 9 and 4, 5 steals and a block with 3 threes. It's a huge game. We also had another one of these monster efficiency games with Ivica Zubac's just 93 from the field. 13 of 14 for 33 and 7 with 2 blocks. Unfortunately, his free throws at 6 of 11 were not particularly strong, but that field goal percentage is great. Or Jimmy Harden had 22, 3 and 7 with 3 steals in 40 minutes. They just lent hard into those guys. The Baptist John Collins played just 24 minutes. He had 9 points. He didn't register a single rebound. He had 2 steals and 2 assists. And even though we saw the absence of Bradley Beal and we've seen him back starting, and Derek Jones is out, it's Jackie.
Get that garbage out of here!
It's just like he just doesn't fit. And I think what we are seeing a lot this season is players joining new teams. As a general rule, they just suck. Myles Turner just can't fit in. John Collins, dreadful. We'll talk about a bloke on the other team in this game as well, about the struggles that he's having. Someone that maybe didn't struggle as much as someone like Norman Powell in Miami, but even that, I think there's going to be some drops later on in the year. But players joining new teams, it's been a real struggle. Chris Dunn did the thing that you wanted if you streamed him in. 26 minutes, 9 points, 3 threes, 6 assists and 2 steals. Almost the perfect stream game. You got the threes, you got the assists, you got the steals. I don't know what more you wanted there. Well, we got 24 minutes out of Bogdan Bogdanovic. 10, 5, and 2 with 2 threes for the car wash specialist. He had a steal and not much else. The shooting was fine. I still don't think we need to worry that here in any 170 deep leagues. It's more like 200 deep leagues that we're considering him. And we've got Brook Lopez back into the rotation over Kobe Brown, and Colonel Kobe Sanders played 9 minutes over Cam Christie and Jordan Miller, and of course, camcorder legend Ray J. Dennis. Let's go on to the Rockets side because they did win the game, like I said, by 2 points. And let's talk about the guy that people are saying, people are noticing, people are speaking about the fact that is Kevin Durant washed? I mean, he's not, but he also doesn't. He's not looking anywhere near the same Kevin Durant, and he's 36 years old, I think, or is he 37? Let's have a look. He is 37. It's going to happen. He is still the 30th ranked player over the course of the season, including today's game, and 28th over the last month. He's averaging 25, 4.5, and 4.5. 0.9 steals and 0.5 blocks. Part of the reason why his production is down from last season, he's blocking like half the amount of shots. His shooting is down from 53 to 50. And like his rebound numbers are down almost 2 rebounds a game. The minutes are fine. The scoring is fine. The usage is down a little bit, which I thought it would actually possibly go up in Houston. But it's just efficiency down. Blocks down. Rebounds down. And this was just a bad one from Durant. Like, it wasn't good at all. 16, 1 and 3 on 36% and only 14 attempts. You're not doing anything with it. Like, you could buy low on him if you wanted to, if someone really believes that he's done. But I would want to buy it for a guy outside the top 50. But I don't know what else you do here. Amen Thompson, 20 and 9, 8 assists, 1 steal. He actually, and I don't know how this is happening, he's like an elite free throw shooter now, and I don't really get it. Another 4 of 4 night at the line here. His blocks, I'm not sure they're coming back, but the rebounds are up. And the numbers, they're getting good. Alperen Sengun, the delicate dancer, 22 and 15 with 4 steals for him after missing the last couple. So he started with Clint Capella coming off the bench. And Stevie Adams had 6 rebounds. Sorry, that's just deeper league stream stuff. We wanted to watch Reed Shepherd. He did end up playing most of the game in the closing lineup. Got to 26 minutes. It's not a good game though. 10, 4, and 2 with 2 threes. He had a block. Am I holding Reed Shepherd? Yeah, I am trying to. I am in most cases holding Reed Shepherd through this week and next week. But the trend is not good. It's not looking great when Josh Okogie plays 21 and Aaron Holiday plays 17, and they're just not pushing Reed to 30. I am holding though. It has been a rough stretch of games. The little stretch of him starting seems like a little bit of a fluke, and I really don't know that we're going to get that back. But if I'm in a league that is 175 deep, you can't move off from him. If it's 150 deep, I think you probably need to hold. Anything shallower, I get it. And the value difference between him in points leagues and category leagues is sizable. So, like, if you're in a 10-team points, I don't really think it's a hold for Shepherd in that. But for category leagues, yeah, like, I would. Jabari Smith, 18 and 10 with 2 threes. He's not really hitting any sort of high-level upside numbers, but better than he had been. And just sort of, which is amazing to say about Jabari Smith, there's some level of reliability in what he's doing. 37 minutes here for Jabari. We've got 2 more games that we are going to come back and talk about, and we will do that. But as we get close here to the end of the year, it's time to look at the new year and new systems and take a look at the messier parts of running a business and think, well, there's got to be a better way. And there is, because today's episode is brought to you by Quo, spelled Quo, the smarter way to run your business communications. If you're ready to make your workday smoother and keep customers connected without the headaches, Quo makes upgrading your setup easier than ever. The streamlined system can make such a big difference when you're communicating with customers. You can have all your calls, your texts, and your voicemails in one clean view, which keeps everything organized and helps you to stay responsive. And there's an AI that summarizes the calls and logs the calls, and it feels like you've got an assistant there with you keeping track of every detail. So make this the year where no opportunity and no customer slips away. Try Quo for free, plus get 20% off your first 6 months when you go to quo.com/lockedonnba. That is quo.com/lockedonnba. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. Today's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel. NFL Sundays, they move fast. It's one big play, then suddenly everything feels different. That's why live betting on FanDuel is so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds. Every drive, every momentum swing, and every highlight moment. Live betting is the best when the game starts to shift. A receiver that gets hot, a defense starts tightening up. You see a couple of turnovers in a row, maybe a couple on one play even. And you see things going all whack all over the shop. Well, FanDuel updates the live spreads and money lines instantly. Player props update as guys heat up as well. And you can bet things like next touchdown scorer, drive results, totals, and more. And keeps you locked into every snap, every drive, and every possibility. And you can go check out the NBA stuff over there as well. We've got NBA Cup odds and live betting over there. The Thunder, by the way, for the NBA Championship, not the NBA Cup, NBA Championship, minus 110 favorites, while the Nuggets are plus 850. That is a significant difference. That is a huge significant difference between those two. Because the Thunder are that good. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, go to FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. And don't forget to gamble responsibly. Let's get on to the third of the early games. This was a blowout, but maybe not in the direction that you expected. Although the Blazers did have quite a few guys injured. They lose to the Pelicans, 143-120. Pelicans, 143. The Blazers, Shaedon Sharpe moved back into the starting lineup, so maybe my idea that they were keeping him in that bench role to foretell what was going to happen later on, maybe that's incorrect. He moved into the starting lineup ahead of Sidi Sissoko. And then we had, instead of Young Hun Sen, who started the last game, we had Chris Murray, where they went with either Tamani Kamara or Jeremy Grant, center. Realistically, just a centerless lineup. We'll start with Sissoko and Rayan Rupert, who of course were the two best players in this game for the Blazers. Sure, Sissoko had 20-4 with 3 threes and a block. Rupert had 14-6 with 2 threes and 2 steals. And both guys shot over 60%, of course they did. Is any of that stuff real or does it matter? I don't think so. Like, it's one of these games that was a blowout. Rotations were adjusted, the game was over pretty quickly, and guys like Rupert and Sissoko were playing down the stretch along with Love, Dwop Reith, and Javonte Cook in the final 7 minutes of the game. I think for most of that, you can throw it away. I know there are people that are still really disappointed in Tamani Kamara, but honestly, like 15-5-5 with 3 threes on 46%, I'm not really sure what more you need. Again, difference for him in points leagues versus category leagues. If I'm on a category league that's going 170 deep, easy hold. 150 deep, hold. 150 deep points league, probably a drop. 170 points league, debatable. Probably a hold. The role's not changing. The shooting has been bad, but it's getting better. And I think we are a little bit bogged down in what Kamara did for the first 5 weeks or so, because his last couple have been okay. They've been actually pretty good. Denny Avdiya, just a rough shooting night here. 16, 7 and 6, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 33% only. Sell high slump. While Shaedon Sharpe also 21 points. That's great. But bro, why did you go 1 of 4 from the line? There's always something weird with this guy. A weird minutes restriction, a terrible field goal night, 0 rebound game, or something. There's always something. He's been quite disappointing this season. And Jeremy Grant's been the opposite. He's been a huge surprise. And then today he was just bad. 19 shots for 32%. The whole team was bad, obviously. They were missing Klingon, Holiday, Rob Williams. Obviously Scoot and Matisse Thybulle were out as well. And it is catching up with them a little bit. But they still should be better than that. Because the other team they're up against, the New Orleans Pelicans, is terrible too. And yeah, we look at this team who did receive back the positive news that Jordan Poole was back. He didn't start. Sasha Fierce did. 25 minutes for Jeremiah, 19, 6 and 4, and shot the absolute lights out, 64%. Now, I will say this, that Fierce was able to play down the stretch here in a game they were up by 23 points, as did Derek Queen, as did Bryce McGowans, and as did Trey Murphy. They didn't really go to those bench units as early as Portland did. And there was a stage there where Fierce just really wasn't playing very much at all. And he sort of rescued that line late. I think that I would try to hold him. But again, if we're talking category leagues or even points league stuff with Jeremiah Fierce, the production hasn't been that good. If I'm in a 150 deep 10-teamer, I don't think I bother. If it's a 12-teamer, we're going out to 170, maybe. As for Jordan Poole, if he was dropped, you can re-add him and let's see where it goes. He didn't shoot well, 42% on 19 attempts, but he had 22 points, 3 threes, 3 assists and a steal. I'm not sure that he's going to remain a 12-team league guy, but I would add him if he got dropped. And then with Poole back, we only got 29 minutes out of the depressed penis Sadiq Bey, and that's not a gigantic surprise. It is a little bit of a surprise when you know that Herb Jones was ejected at halftime. Bey had 15, 8, and 4, and just didn't shoot well. I maintained that for now, he's playing well, but he's playing well above his head. So he's, in some respects, doing the thing. He's taking the opportunity with guys out and turning it into elevated play through elevated efficiency, where he's never shown it before. But for now, we just hold on. McGowan's went absolutely crazy. 73% shooting, another just insane shooting night that we've got to really pass through. 23 points, 7 rebounds, 5 threes, 2 steals. There's one more game for the Pels this week on Sunday. I don't think Jones is at any risk of sitting out, being out due to a suspension or anything stupid like that. But McGowan's just had a little bit of value of just holding because of volume. Derek Queen played 35 minutes, which is great. I can't say anything negative about Derek Queen, so I just got to make it all positive. 17, 5, and 7 with 2 steals. An unbelievable 67% from the field and perfect from the free throw line from Fears. And he didn't mess around with taking threes. He knew they wouldn't go in, so he did the right thing, the perfect decision at all points. So he didn't hit any threes and didn't take any. He was an unbelievably good plus 12 in this game, and he continues to look like one of the best players probably of all time. Yves Missi sucks. He had 5 points. He did have 3 blocks, but that is deep league stuff only. And then with the return of Jordan Poole, we only had 23 minutes from Jose Alvarado. 4, 4, and 9. The 9 assists are great, clearly, but that's not really a 12-teamer. Now, we saw Herb Jones come back in the first game back from injury, and people said, hey, he's back, he's flying. And then he had 4 and 6 here in 14 minutes on 22%. So, yep, absolutely not. Would you hold him? I don't know. I was like, I don't mind if you want to grab him, but I'm not convinced that one game, after seeing 17 bad ones, I'm not convinced that one game suggests that he's back and rolling and any sort of high-level ad. And this game should push you the other direction where you go, oh, he's not going to be this bad. Even if he didn't get ejected, he's not going to be this bad. The reality is somewhere in between. To give you a more accurate representation of Derek Queen, 17, 5, and 7 with 2 steals is really good. He was hyper-efficient. The minutes are there. Zion's a long way away from coming back. He's going to put up good numbers. He's going to have bad games. He's going to have games where he just gets benched because he doesn't perform well defensively. He's still going to have issues with shooting at times. But these are really good games, obviously and very clearly. And now we're going to do the thing that you want us to do, and that's talk about this embarrassing franchise, the Sacramento Kings, as they get cooked. Absolutely smashed by the Denver Nuggets, 136-105 as usual. I'm not doing anything against Kings fans. I feel your pain. I feel your sorrow. I feel for you. I want you to have a competent owner / manager / coach, and you don't. Yeah, okay. Ready for a side note? I don't know if you've ever felt this. This is probably the first time I've ever felt it. I'm sitting here in my chair talking to you guys, and then I was like, oh my God, I don't have my seatbelt on. Now, in case you're not aware, I don't usually wear a seatbelt to podcast. So it was a weird feeling. So that's why I sort of stumbled in the middle of that sentence. Went, okay, wow, am I about to go do something illegal, get arrested? No, just sitting in a chair. That's how my day's going. Better than the Kings, though. The Nuggets, they cooked him 136. Big Chungus had 36, 12, and 8. Didn't even hit 30 minutes. He had 2 steals. He's ridiculously good, as we know. The headmaster only had 11 points on some poor shooting, Jamal Murray, but you got 9 assists and 2 steals, and he's been so good this season. We can forgive that. We even got a good game out of Cam Johnson, who had 16 points. Now, his numbers continue to be pretty underwhelming. If I'm in a shallow format, a 130 or 150 points league, I don't know that you need to consider him a must. In a 170 category league, that's a those of you who aren't aware, that's a 12-teamer with a couple of IL slots. I think you do hold, but it's not super encouraging. Well, Peyton Watson got a lot of points, 21 of them, shot well, but he did nothing else. The other games, he'd been not scoring much with putting up big defense, and the games before that, he'd been scoring a lot with nothing else. He can't really put it all together. But for now, we are rostering Peyton Watson in all leagues. Brucey Brown dropped in 7 assists. We also got 25 minutes out of Jalen Pickett. Now, part of that is blowout-related stuff, but also 6, 5, and 4 with 2 steals. He's been out of the rotation, and with Gordon and Brown and Strother out, he's getting an opportunity at the moment, and he's at least took advantage of it in an opportunity today against a terrible team. Now, again, I think when I talk about this Kings team, I don't really know what to say. There was no Zach LaVine with thumb soreness. Drew Eubanks left with a thumb injury. Domantas Sabonis' knee and his thumb, I guess, are injured, and Schroeder remains out with no actual timetable. And then Malik Monk played 9 minutes last game, so of course in this one he played 30. Why wouldn't he? Makes complete sense. He didn't start, though. It was Nick Clifford who started. Let's talk about Monk, who had 18, 4, and 5 with a steal. They're great numbers. And I did talk about this the other day. I said I don't think I would have been so quick to drop Malik Monk, especially with 2 games this week and the fact that 2 games prior he played 30 minutes. Now, I have absolutely no faith in Monk. I have faith in Monk as a player. I have no faith in this absolute clown something. I don't know what I was going to call him. A clown anus franchise? That's not a real term, but it is now because they've got no idea what they're doing. He is their best guard. Malik Monk's their best guard, but they don't play him. Like, look at the numbers. 30 minutes, then it was 17-9, and then 30 again. How do we bank on that? I would hold, given Levine's thumb injury and just uncertainty, but it's not. I don't feel good about it. Westbrook was pretty good in terms of really good efficiency from the line. He had 17, 3, and 5. He's on rosters for now. And Keegan Murray, 15 points. He got 2 steals and 2 blocks, which is great. He missed his free throws, but he was efficient from the field, 15 and 6. He's sort of settling in to the area now. Like, is he a top 100 guy? Probably, but not as good as he was to begin the year. Maxime Reynaud played 37 minutes. So I will give the Kings credit. That is what you need. That is what we want. There is no Sabonis, and then Eubanks got hurt. Reynaud is a must-roster player. 15 and 9 with a steal. I think he's more that he can do there, and I hope that they continue to give him a good run. I do obviously worry when Sabonis comes back. He'll be in a backup role, but there is the chance of chaos at some point. But you just roll with Reynaud for now. Clifford in a start was bad. 2 points on 13%. No defensive stats, no threes, no assists. I'd much rather stream in Monk than I would Clifford, obviously. But you just never know what's going to happen in the next one. We also got 31 minutes out of Keon Ellis, which we just don't normally get. He had 4 steals, he had a block, he had 4 assists. That's obviously really good. Is he worth a stream over Clifford? Again, we just can't trust how the minutes are going to be distributed. And we had finally lottery pick. Devin Carter played his first minutes in like a month plus. He had 15, he had 4 assists, but this game was over. They were running the young guys out a lot in the second half, as they should. But I can't put any faith into what these bunch of dickheads are going to do, honestly. It's just all... I'm not even talking about the players. I just have no confidence in Doug Christie or Scott Perry or Vivek Ranadive. None at all. Should we do the lines of the night? Might be a good place to go. The monstrous line of the night, we're just going to go to Big Chungus. Didn't even need 30 minutes. Nikola Jokic just to drop a casual 36, 12, and 8 with 2 steals. Your waiver wire line of the night, the best player available in over 60% of leagues, according to our numbers at Basketball Monster. We're going to go with a guy that, I don't know what just happened. Why would the font look like that? Bryce McGowan said 23, 7, and 2. No idea what just happened to the font. Shout out to Adobe. McGowan's was great. Started the second half. I think we can largely ignore that. The young gun of the night, the best first or second year player, it does go to Yas Queen, the Blizzard. Dereck, 17 and 5, 7 assists and 2 steals. He was really good in this game against a Blazers team with no center. And the dud of the night, speaking of centers, it's got to be Myles Turner. He was dreadful again. 4 points, 3 rebounds, 2 blocks. I am holding him, unless I'm in a shallower points league. In a category league, I am holding, but it is disconcerting, to say the least. That's a recap. That's Thursday. NBA Cup semifinals coming up on Saturday. 7 games on Friday. The schedule is set. There is no more changing of the schedule, guys. So in case you're worried about that, we are set with the schedule. It's not changing. What you see now is what you get. Assuming that ESPN and the worst app out there, Sleeper, and Yahoo have actually updated their site to be correct. Which, you know what? I'm not going to put full faith in that. Bang it up. Double bang it. Guys, we're done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.